I will start the recording. When you say yes, I will start the recording on my phone as well.
So the recording is on.
On my side as well.
Great. Edwin, I'm so happy to have you as a guest. I was really looking forward, and I'm also a bit nervous. And therefore, I thought maybe we can do an energizer together, because I was watching your LinkedIn for the past couple of weeks and I loved your videos, and I think the audience will too. So you are an expert on energizers with your colleague Kurt, and maybe we can do one right now here. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I have multiple. What I did in the energizer videos, but you give me another hard question, because we are now in a podcast, so we can do that much visual. But what we can do, yeah, that's an energizer we did not do in the video series yet, because we need interaction, and we now have interaction. And the energizer is called Pick Something Blue, and we do that for 1 minute. Normally we do that for 5 minutes, but we are with the two of us for 1 minute. And the energizer is, I will pick something, and you have to pick something of the same color, of the same type. So, for example, I have a blue coffee cup, and you have to pick something blue as well, or a coffee cup as well.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
Let's start with a blue pack of peppermints. So something blue. Come on.
I have this blue fancy text marker here.
Oh, nice. All right. I have an orange towel.
Oh, I love that.
Come on.
I have orange Post-its.
Orange Post-its. Yes. All right. I have a green book. Where's your green?
Okay.
A plant.
Okay.
Like a plant behind you.
I have.
That's it.
Oh yeah, the plant. The plant is even better. Okay.
That's even better.
Okay. So
okay, listeners. I can't see Sarah anymore because there's a plant.
Beautiful
Awesome.
plant, actually.
All right, and I have a little brown wallet here. Do you have something brown or a wallet?
A wallet. Oh, a wallet. Wait.
Come on.
My brown sunglasses.
Wow, sunglasses. All right, looking good.
I love it. Okay.
All right, and we can do this for 5 minutes, and with a group of 5 to 10 people. It's awesome, hilarious. Everyone taking their plans or something different. It's awesome.
That was a good idea with the plans. And you know, there will be a recording. So I also have a YouTube channel. So this could also be watched for those who want to get the image behind what we did right now. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Really, really cool. So welcome, Edwin van de Geest. You have to help me with the pronunciation. Did I do it correctly?
Awesome, yeah. Okay. The G is very hard. For Dutch it's a G van der Geest.
Yeah, I mean,
German and
yes, Germans, we can do it quite well, I think, the harsh. Or?
I wouldn't say it's harsh.
Yeah, I mean, I studied in Spain, and they would always mimic me like German speaking like that. And to give the listeners a little background how we met, it was back in 2019 in autumn, October, and we met at a meetup in Papendrecht. Do I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, Papendrecht, yes.
Papendrecht, at Energy Flow or Oliver Wolfs, and you organized this meetup. And tell me a bit about why you chose to go to this little village to visit this company with your meetup format, Responsive Org.
Yeah. Responsive Org, yes. Yeah, the Responsive Org is a community that was created years ago in America, exploring organizations that are responsive and are adaptive to the ever-changing world. So I created the Dutch chapter, so to say, or Dutch community of that. And what we did in the Dutch community is visiting responsive or progressive organizations and get inspired by their stories, how they became, but also have a look inside their office and get a really good feeling, and not only having a talk, but also feeling and talking with other enthusiastic people about those topics. And we've visited a lot of great companies, and Energy Flow was one of them. And what I really like about their approach is that they didn't just implement holacracy, they fully embodied it, and they went a step beyond holacracy to find out the things they are struggling with to fix that as well. And yeah, I really love their purpose to reinvent the oil and energy industry as a small company as they are right now, but their ambition is so great. So yeah, was pretty logical for us to visit them.
Okay. And I got a lot out of this meetup, and I talked to Tine from Energy Flow. I talked to Charlotte about HR structures and also about holacracy and the salary system they installed. And the people I met, so I kept in touch, and I got a lot out of this meetup. And what were your key takeaways? I mean, you've been working with new ways of working at Incentro for 7 years. So, and based on the meetup, what kind of new things did you get out of it? Which you also already mentioned a bit, that you liked that they even went further.
I think that was my main takeaway. That their ambition to reinvent themselves, or that ambition to find a way that empowers all the employees within Energy Flow. And they didn't take holacracy for granted. They were exploring new ways. They really did their purpose finding on company level, but also on personal level.
Yeah.
And they, within the restrictions of the Dutch law, they did try to find a new way of employer-employee relationship. And I think that is awesome. And I think they're still in their transition and their journey, and they are really on the forefront of the Dutch market. And I think the Dutch market is on the forefront for the rest of the world, so to say, on the progressiveness of their organizations.
Yeah, would you say so? What kind of are the indicators on that?
A couple of indicators is the number of pioneers that are talking in those worldwide events. There are a lot of Dutch pioneers who are inspiring other organizations globally, like Geest de Blok of Buurtzorg. Probably you've heard of him. I followed them, and I actually went to a Buurtzorg. There was a little village, and I just went into it and talked to the women sitting there, which was amazing because they told me about their structures and how they work together. But I would love to get to know him one day. I think Joost from the Corporate Rebels, he really admires him, and I think he's kind of a mentor to them as well. So yeah, here he is. Yeah. Yeah, I invited Jos one time to Incentro to inspire us within Incentro, because that was awesome to inspire all our leaders within the organization on what he did and how he became that successful using self-management in its core.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, but there are so many smaller and bigger examples of progressive organizations here in the Netherlands, and some things that are pretty normal already in the Netherlands is very progressive for somewhere else in the world. The Dutch are, I think, not that hierarchical as many other countries. I think even the German are a lot more hierarchical focused than the Dutch are, because I'm working for a client at the moment who have a couple of Dutch offices and one German office as well. Mm-hmm. And yeah, the culture is already, and it's only I think, a couple of kilometers on the other side of the border, and the culture is already that much different. Following the leader and following the person higher in the hierarchy, that's there are a lot more steps to take to become that more flat or more progressive organization, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's the pain point where the discussion is circling around, and I think where a lot of people mistake introducing agile working methodologies, which help, or we are agile in terms of now we are not hierarchical anymore. I also see a lot of pitfalls in that. I don't know how you see that.
Yeah,
kind of what I observe a little bit on the surface.
Yeah, what normally is done with implementing agile and originally is from IT departments or IT companies, and it works good there because it's in sprints of 2 or 3 weeks, and you really make tangible products every new sprint. That's I think agile is awesome on being responsive and agile. That's how it's called as well. But implementing that all over the company is so much different, and that implementing agile as a method doesn't make you agile in a mindset and agile in the whole organization, because you have to completely rethink your design as an organization. And that's completely different than just implementing agile on different departments.
I'm also a bit careful with this. I mean, mindset is the term to use I think that is the crucial aspect of where we should highlight our conversation on in the new ways of working or future of work a conversation, in my opinion, leadership and mindset. What do you think does it take, or what are your learnings, and also yourself, your journey yourself, to be a leader and to transform yourself, your team, your organization in this new ways of working, new mindset, whatever that means? What is it for you? What are your learnings?
It is a very broad question.
I know. What mindset?
Yeah, for me, when I was back at Incentro, and I can tell a bit more about my backstory as well. But yeah, back in Incentro, when I became managing director of one of the offices, I got inspired by a quote, and I never let that one go. And the responsibility of a leader is to create as many leaders around him as possible. And I think that is a mindset for that is very important for so many leaders, because it's not about your own position, it's not about your ego, it's about creating so much more leaders around you. Because talking about self-management, talking about autonomy, or talking about innovation, the only thing you need, not the only thing, but a very important aspect is creating more leaders. And it doesn't mean that a leader needs to be higher in the hierarchy. The leader needs to lead is him or herself, and lead their own journey and help each other out in their purpose along the way. So I would say every leader should should help others to become a leader as well, in their own understanding.
And what do we do with the leaders that have a lot of ego? Here in Germany, I think there are still a lot of in positions that, I mean, I'm a coach and a systemic coach, and in my practice as a coach, in my role as a coach, I support people in career transitions. And if I look on the cases I have, most of them quit their jobs because of bad leaders. And what I hear from their stories, it's very toxic environments and very bad leadership, and I experience it myself. So what to do? Where to start? I learned from the Netherlands, from my time there, it's about starting small, just start and do little experiments. That's one thing I've learned, but that also needs the openness to let someone start, and let someone start an experiment. But if you have those pain in the ass leaders. I put it like that. Some are really, really still.
And there are still a lot of them in the Netherlands as well, so there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
But the way we help leaders and organizations is indeed by starting small. That's what we do with prototyping work. And we help leaders. We first of all, they need to be a little bit open. Not they don't have to be very enthusiastic upfront, because we are going to make them enthusiastic during the process. Of course, we are very sure about that. We almost can give them a guarantee you are going to be enthusiastic. Now,
you need like a little stamp, like enthusiastic stamp.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, certificate. Okay, you're now. No, but they need to be a little bit open, just to try. And if they are just enough open to give it a try, we are going to explore with them what is holding them back. Because they become like this because it did help them, and they had, maybe in the past they had to fight for their position as well, because he or she is somewhere in the hierarchy, but maybe higher in the hierarchy it's even harder. So he or she has to fight for their position still. And with that context, we start small, start creating experiments on what is holding them back. So maybe it's the context, maybe it's their responsibility, maybe it's their view on their employees. And then we're going to experiment with, okay, let's try to do something different for a very short period, and let's find out what happens. And yeah, it has to be, I always use the phrase of sociocracy. I think it's a very good one. Good enough for now and safe enough to try. So try an experiment that is, man, you don't have to create a full change plan. Just create an experiment, very small but tangible, that's good enough and safe enough to try. So you don't have to start with complete transparent salary, for example. That's not safe to try. Try something smaller and that's a little bit safer. And then see the results after 3 weeks, and then do it again. And yes, there will be mistakes. You will fall back, but that's part of the process. And by continuously experiment and try, you will in the end become more enthusiastic about the opportunities you have in front of you than the things you did in the past.
Yeah. Okay, there's so many connection dots. I'm thinking, where do I want to go? I mean, I was listening to a podcast, and what I liked was the perspective on what the pandemic can provide, and that is radically changing or ripping up the way we work, which also means the way we lead. We need to lead, so we are not face to face anymore with our employees, with our colleagues, and that changes completely the way we work, the way we interact, and way more. And I like the perspective she gave on the tremendous possibility we have that lies in this pandemic, in this change. And you told me that you moved houses and you are now living close to the sea and spending a lot more time in nature. So I would be very interested in what changed for you also since we met and since COVID hit, and the second part, I would be interested in what you see changed, but on a positive aspect of the remote work. What is the good thing of that? Yeah,
interesting. I didn't listen to that specific podcast, but what I hear about what you're saying is you have a choice looking at the pandemic as a crisis or a transformation. And looking at from the transformation, the positive side, there are so many opportunities, and there that whole thing had to focus on the work-related topic. We had most of the companies had to change overnight from working in office to working remote. And I have a friend working at a financial company who were discussing the opportunities of digital tools to facilitate remote working for years, and they didn't fix that. And in a week time, they had to fix that for everyone.
Yeah.
And then there was no problem at all. Okay, we have the budget. No worries. Okay, we can do that very quickly. And bam, bam, bam. Within a week, everyone could do their work which they normally did in office, now remote or remotely. So sometimes when there is a crisis or there is that much pressure, we all need to change. And I think that's one of the positive things is we all can change. If it's needed, we can.
Yeah.
And if we want, we can.
Yeah.
But if it's needed, we can, and we do change. And so I think that from my perspective as a coach and a transformation agent, I always share the best example is this from the COVID pandemic. Everyone can change, and we are now in a very experimental phase of working, because when changing overnight to working remotely, a lot of new challenges arise. For example, how do you connect with your colleagues? How do you lead remotely? I think that's one of the most search terms in Google now.
And also new offers, new webinar offers by freelancers. I think they really got it.
Yeah, yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, but so I think there's one other very good thing about going remote is that managers, it's harder to micromanage.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of in the Netherlands there was a TV episode about bullshit jobs. A lot of middle managers or people with some sort of manager in their title. The only thing they did was controlling or managing time, or didn't do things that actually added value to the company. Only controlling and managing and overseeing stuff. I think they need to think twice to if this job is still future-proof for themselves and for the company as well. And I think that is brought up more on the surface for companies to have a look at those positions, but also on how to lead. Okay, we cannot micromanage. Normally we love doing that, but now we have more time to focus on strategic stuff that's more important for the company. So I see a lot of positive changes in this pandemic, and for me as a organization consultant, the first weeks of when the pandemic hits here in Europe, it was very hard because every assignment was gone because of you're external. We have to cut our costs, of course, very logical. But within a couple of weeks, they called me. We want you to come back because we need you to help us how to work together, but now on working remote together.
Yeah, so it was a first freeze shock. Okay, we don't know what's going to happen, and then they okay.
Yeah.
I think the discussion here and the frustration is very much on the topic they deal with the school system here. I think a lot of parents are so exhausted of the schools not being able to provide good digital education and information. So this is even after a year. I'm reading a lot of tweets and posts of really exhausting and angry people and parents complaining about that here in Germany. I don't know if you have if you have the same in the Netherlands, or if this is also something that works differently and they adjusted quicker to digital learning.
Yeah, there's a lot of frustration, but I think the frustration is mainly focused on the government and not on the schools and teachers, because they all try their best to adapt to the changes, and it's so hard to facilitate young children and now remote and on their laptops on the kitchen table, three next to each other. Yeah, I can imagine it's very hard for the parents, and I can imagine it's also very hard for the teachers in school as well. My wife is a teacher at the university in Amsterdam, and from March last year, it went remote overnight as well. Yeah, and working at being a teacher at university is more theoretical, eh? So all the classes are very theoretical, so that is good. But the more practical classes and courses are very hard to give remote. So yeah, and still that is a challenge. But yeah, everyone is looking at the government, and they are not that adaptive to what is happening.
Yeah. It's the same. It's the same here. Yeah, but let's. I love the energy you created by the enthusiastic approach you are spreading, and you want to create an impact with that and with your energy. And I really like that. And I think that's also what drew me into talking to you, because I'm like that too. And maybe we can deep dive a bit in what you do now, and what is the specialty or your shed light on your prototyping approach a bit. What is prototyping? What does it mean? How did you end up doing that?
Yeah, it started back when I was working at Incentro.
Yeah, Incentro, for those who don't know it yet, is so your background is in IT or development.
Yeah.
And Incentro is an IT company, or maybe you can.
Yeah, I think Incentro is a pretty progressive company, but is an IT consulting company, as there are so many of. But Incentro is focusing on the happiness of their employees, and from the belief that if their employees are happy, the rest will follow. That's what they literally say, and what they mean with the rest is the clients will be happy as well, and we will be financially healthy as well. But that
it sounds pretty
both of them.
Cool. Did it follow like that? Did it?
Yeah, it was that in that order. So the most important thing is having happy employees, and the rest will follow. Yeah, and that's awesome. And me personally, that drew me to Incentro, and that helped me fly through my career as well, because I got so many opportunities within Incentro.
Yeah.
And it's not just a saying, but they are really organized to facilitate their vision. So they are organized based on a self-structure of Eckhart Winston, is a Dutch organizational philosopher, and he invented the cell division, as it's called, from biology. When an office grows bigger than 50 employees, we split it up into 2 different offices.
Okay.
And we did that to prevent rules, more hierarchical layers, to prevent bureaucracy, to prevent everything we didn't want, and also to have as many employees doing the things on our primary goal, and that's helping our clients. Yeah? So we are a consultancy company. We want as many employees helping our clients. So all the overhead, let's say finance, HR, sales, management, that's all. There was all a part of a management team in every office, but every office was completely autonomous. And what we mean with completely autonomous, every office was able to decide what strategic route they went, what clients they want to go to acquire, what employees to hire, what employees to fire. all within the boundaries of being financially healthy and having a high score on employee engagement, because we measured that every month. And I became started at Incentro as a developer, but I wasn't that good. I had a lot of better developers, so I pretty quickly became a team lead or a project manager and a scrum master, agile coach, kind of consultancy role with clients. And later I became manager of one of the offices, and that's where I realized that having the autonomy to add your value to the company, it's much bigger when becoming a manager, and the responsibility is bigger. So that goes hand in hand. So the freedom and the responsibility goes hand in hand. But that gave me some sort of a push to become more of myself and to add even more value to the company, and I become even more happy.
Was it because of it? I mean, a great aspect is the structure you were following, and I mean the mission itself. Was it also? It sounds like a lot of trust.
Yeah, there is so many trust, because I wasn't that typical consultant within Incentro, because the typical consultant was a developer, and I became quickly someone else, something else. So there was trust to follow my own path, and that was for everyone. So there were others as well who followed their own path. When I was in the management team, we had a lot of discussions on how can we get our employees even more happy, because that's what we are focusing on, by giving them even more trust, but even more freedom and autonomy as well. So
by letting go the control.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
hierarchies and being more on the same level, then, so to say.
Yeah, and we for a company of over 300 people, we only had three layers of hierarchy. So there was, we were already a pretty flat organization, and still we thought that there is room to grow. And we got inspired by books like Reinventing Organizations, and there were a lot of inspiring cases back then, and we want to be that inspiring case as well. So we started experimenting, and we did a lot of things wrong, but didn't hold us back to creating a more autonomous employee office, and more. Yeah, in the end, we grew to having a self-managed office, but that wasn't our goal. So we had an office of over 40 employees with different self-managing teams, helping their own clients, doing their own finance, doing their own sales. And in the end, the management team wasn't needed anymore. So we broke down the management team, and the managers went to the self-managed teams, and some of them became consultants again, which they didn't do for years, but they did really like that.
I remember.
And
I remember when we were sitting at the beautiful dinner after the meetup. I was talking to you, and you told me, that you made yourself redundant, and that was kind of your goal, that you create leaders within the team, so that your function, your role is not needed anymore. And that really stuck to me, and that really kind of inspired me. Also, highlighting your mindset and kind of your principles, in a way, what you stand for and what you want to create. So that really inspired me.
Thanks. So somewhere in that process, I became responsible for that office. So I became managing director, and I saw that as a project, as you were mentioning. I saw that as a project to be the last managing director ever needed for that office. So I tried to make myself redundant, and within a year or two, I'm not sure, somewhere between a year or two, I was almost redundant. And the almost thing is, I was still, the other offices didn't go that far as we did. So they did communicate with me as the managing director, and the only thing I did was sending it to the responsible colleagues who were responsible for that specific topic. And so that was my role, being a mailman or so.
And then there was this time you decided to work as a freelancer, or to be self-employed after 7 years with Incentro, right?
Yeah, Incentro was also I learned so much at Incentro, but it was also my comfort zone. So and I need to step out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to help more employees, more teams and organizations becoming as progressive as we did within Incentro.
Cool, yeah.
And I did that in a way we also did within Incentro by experimenting. And that's how prototyping work started, and that's how I started working on a methodology. Because back at Incentro, it was just experimenting on things we thought were good. If I look back at that time, I would advise myself back then to do it completely different, but that's a whole different kind of story. But still, I created a methodology by helping other clients, and that's a methodology, what is called prototyping, and it helps by it's a methodology that is inspired by agile methodologies for the rhythm. It's inspired by product innovation, because prototyping in product innovation, product development, is about creating a small tangible prototype to get out there in the market and validate that hypothesis you have. That's what we are doing within the organization now as well. So by creating a small tangible experiment or prototype and validate that as soon as possible within your team or within your department or your organization. And the third thing we are inspired by is positive psychology. And so
I love that.
we love to be on the positive side of change. So not on the negative side. Try to reframe your attention into something positive. Try to create positive energy towards the change you are seeking. So that's what we are building now and helping clients with, creating a movement, because it's not just a traditional change that you roll out over your organization. It's a movement what you do together collaboratively with your employees, with your co-workers, to create a change directed by the employees and not directed by the top of the organization.
Great, it sounds pretty awesome. And now we did a bit the theoretical insight, and I would love to experience it and experiment with you. So what do you think? Shall we do a little prototyping session?
Yeah, it would be awesome. I would love to do that.
So I suggest we get a little refreshment, and then we continue with the second part, which will be the prototyping with Edwin and Sarah.
Yeah, looking forward.
So thanks for all the wonderful insights and for the journey. I would have loved to be kind of your spy when you were working at Incentro, and then also kind of be your diary, your reflective diary or something, and to get all what you've learned and what you've experienced, because I'm a fan of experiencing. You can read as many books and you can be inspired by so many books, but if you experience something for yourself, it's kind of inscripted in you,
Yeah.
So you have to go out and make this experiences to be able to grow and learn. And I really feel that from you. And I'm really thankful that you shared that with us.
Thank you. Thanks for asking me.
Yeah.